What's up everybody, how are you doing? This is Bayo Adio. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're brand new and if you're returning back for more videos, thank you, welcome back. Thank you so much for your support. So generally I talk about fitness and I talk about my adventures, traveling, living in different places. Specifically right now, I'm talking about my adventures, talk about something that I needed when I was in Lagos. Like my way of living depended on it. My income depended on it. My work depended on this. If you guys have looked at the title, you probably know what I'm referring to. What is it? Wi-Fi. So being that I am a digital nomad, this was one of the things that I needed to make sure that I have set up as I lived in Nigeria for like 2 to 3 months. I'm sharing this video just in case some of you guys are thinking of relocating back and your work is predominantly online, or if you're thinking of just visiting for like a month or two, but you still need to have the access to fast internet and the ability to be able to work and make income. So this video is for you. I'm going to be talking about the challenges of using the internet, and I'm also going to talk about how I was able to overcome them. I'm going to talk about the different equipment. I'm going to also give a ranking of the companies that I think is the best to the worst, and I'm just going to take you guys through all this process so when you get to Nigeria, I can hopefully save you some headache and you can be a little bit ahead of the game, better than I was when I was going through all of this process. Also, I'm definitely going to share the hack of something that I used to get consistent fast speed internet throughout my trip once I figured it out. So let's dive in. Let us talk about first, how do you get internet in Nigeria? In Lagos, Nigeria specifically. The way you do it is you approach a company and they have a lot of different internet service providers and phone service providers. And these companies, what they do is they give you this equipment, and then you can charge that equipment and use it as like hotspot for your internet. So the companies that offers this internet are like MTN, Airtel, Glow, 9Mobile, Swift, and a few others that I can't remember. And all of these people that I mentioned, I used except Glow. So I personally tested MTN, Swift, 9Mobile, Airtel, and Smile. So those are the ones that I tested. And I'm going to give you guys a ranking later on in the video on which one that I think it's the worst you should never use and which one that I think is the best that you should use. So those are the companies that offer internet. So typically what you would do is that you would go into their store and then you ask them, you tell them that you're needing to like get wireless internet, which they call data, and then they just hook you up. So there's multiple equipments that you need. So in order to be able to access this internet, some people have a personal mobile internet hotspot, which they call a MiFi, which is mobile Wi-Fi. You can also get another like in-home Wi-Fi, which is a little bit bigger. It has internet. It has access to handle multiple computers, multiple personal technology equipment like iPad, TV, game stations, all of that stuff. Or then you can get a home internet, which is like requires installation and all the other extra stuff. And lastly, actually there's one more. And then you can also use the hotspot on your phone. So this is how a lot of the people access the internet. So like for me, I took this mobile Wi-Fi thing with me everywhere. It's like a modem that you can get a separate SIM card for, and then you put the SIM card in, they program the number, and then you can recharge that SIM card with data. So that's what me and my wife used everywhere that we traveled, that we needed internet. Or you can get the one at home with the antenna that can plug onto multiple computers. So those are like the different ways to get internet. And then when you go to the store to sign up for the plan, they're gonna need obviously like your name, photo ID or passport, your parents' address, your address, just kind of basic information. But I think now, and don't quote me on this, but it seems like now they're actually going to start requiring an NIN number in order to be able to register your SIM to be able to connect to the data plan and register it with your phone and data plan. So if you're overseas and abroad and you're thinking of coming back home, I actually think it's going to be easier for you to register for your NIN number where you're at before coming to Nigeria. Don't try to do it here. It's a chaotic, hot mess. But if you have the capacity to be able to do it in your country, definitely do it there. If you want to know about my experiences of trying to get an NIN number in Nigeria, I'm going to put a link above here. You can watch that video. All right, so now back to this. So that is how you sign up. And typically when you sign up, you have to buy that modem. It's not free. The modem is like anywhere from like 15K, which is roughly like $40, or 20 to 25,000 Naira, which is roughly like $60. And then when you buy that modem initially, they're going to give you some bonus data, like 60 gigabytes or 80 gigabytes. As you get used to this, you get to learn what gigabytes and megabytes is. So that's just the amount of data that you have to use that month. They give you a bonus, and then after you use it up, you just keep charging it. What does it cost? Typically, 2 gigabytes would be like 1,000 Naira, which is like $2. So to give you guys a little bit of context, I am a heavy internet user. I do like 4 to 5 hours of video conferencing sometimes a day. I record a lot of videos. I upload a lot of videos, download a lot of videos. I run a lot of high-powered applications that take up a lot of internet data. I also stream on the computer. Our TV streams YouTube, Netflix. My wife uses it, my daughter uses it. So we're like major heavy internet users. So for us, I think we use roughly about 120 to like 200 gigabytes a month. So, and then 120 gigabytes usually cost me like 20,000 Naira, so 20K. So that is roughly like $60 a month. So we spend anywhere from $60 to $80 a month on internet. But we're heavy users. Like I'm on internet almost like 15, 18 hours a day. So that hopefully that gives you guys a cost of context. So it's not drastically much more expensive for what I'm used to in the US. The only difference is it's very expensive for Nigeria because a lot of people don't have that level of income to be able to afford to pay that much for internet. So this is like a big issue, especially if you want a fast, reliable one. So we've talked about the process of getting it. We've talked about the equipment that you need to get, and then we've talked about how much it costs and the requirements that you need to get the internet. The challenges of using Wi-Fi in Lagos, Nigeria, for the people that are digital nomads like myself, first obstacle is speed. And when I shoot these videos, when I talk about challenges, I also like to talk about how to overcome them. Because the thing with living in Lagos is that it forces you to be creative, it forces you to be adaptive, it forces you to problem solve. If you're not used to like being in that environment, or you're not open to that, Nigeria and Lagos is absolutely going to stress you out. But for me, I look at everything as a challenge to overcome. So for me, I don't mind it because I enjoy the benefits of living there, and I know nowhere is perfect, but you just have to overcome the challenges in different places that you have to overcome. You got to do what you got to do. So the speed is a major problem. I'm going to talk to you guys about how to overcome that. Network outage is a problem. Quite often, for some reason, the network just goes down. I don't think any of them have 99+% uptime, which means like when the internet is active. Sometimes the network is even down when you go grocery shopping or when you're going to the bank. Sometimes the network is down. It's a big problem in Nigeria. So I'll tell you guys how I overcame that. And then customer service is also not that great, but I think it's because of the sheer number of people that's in Lagos. So when you go to try to seek answers to questions at the store, it just takes forever. The line is always long. So those are the 3 things to overcome. But I'm also going to share with you guys how to test internet speed. So let's talk about the biggest one, speed. So to give you guys a context of speed, typically you need like 5 to 7 megabytes or faster to be able to browse the internet comfortably. So, but for someone like me, I need something that's like 40 to 100 megabytes of internet, and that is very rare. Most of the internet service people, they would tell you that it can go up to that amount, but when you get home and you use it, most of them are generally around the 10, 12 megabytes. And I've tried like 5 companies. They kind of hover around there. So how do you overcome the issue of speed if you have to do a lot of video conferencing and do a lot of stuff that your business relies on internet? Number 1, location. The location highly matters. So for me, one of the things is that I tried one of the internet provider that I actually like the best. I tried them on the mainland, and I'm able to get like 50 to 70 megabytes per second. But then when I tried the same company, on the island, I was able to get that fast. And then when I tried the same hot like internet on the mainland, it dropped down to like 10 or 8. So for me, I stay predominantly on the island because I felt like it was closer to the hub of the company that I was using for faster internet because I relied on it. Now, number 2, the time of the day matters. So what I've learned is that the internet service, and I don't know if a lot of other countries are like this, but Lagos, Nigeria works on a shared bandwidth internet, which means that a lot of people are sharing the bandwidth of the internet. So when a lot of people are active, the internet is drastically slower. And then when a lot of people are less active, the internet is a lot faster. So for me, very early in the morning and late in the evening, the internet speed is so much faster. So for me, I was lucky because a lot of my clients are in US, different countries all over the world. If I'm talking about US, Nigeria is 7 hours ahead. So I work till 11 or 12 naturally anyway. So when I need to upload, download videos, do a lot of video conferencing, I schedule it for later time in Nigeria, and then the people in US are like 2 or 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and I'm doing it at like 10 p.m. at night. So that is one way to like make sure that you don't have frustration, is to just wait during those non-busy times to use the internet. So that is the best ways to overcome the speed issue. Number 3, the quality of the company matters. So, but the only way you're really going to know this is by asking people around the neighborhood that you live, like asking your neighbors, asking around like, what internet service do you have and how good is it? And I'm going to share like my favorites later in this video. So yeah, so the quality of the internet service provider and their reputation, the time of the day, and the location is what's going to help you overcome the speed problem. Once you do that, you're actually going to have no problem. You can have fast internet consistently if you're willing to work around those constraints. How I was able to overcome the network usage, because I'll be on a call and the network would go out, or I'll be busy in the middle of something. So what I do is I actually have 4 internet service providers at one time in my house. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's just what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. So the reason why I have 4 is that I have the main one that I use, and then I have a backup plan for that one just in case it goes off. But also because I want to keep most of the speed, I have a separate modem for like my wife and my daughter to use if they're watching Netflix, TV, if my wife is working using internet, or my daughter is watching her cartoons, whatever the case might be, they have their own special bandwidth. And then they have their own backup just in case theirs goes out. So that's how we ended up with 4. And then also, I think the Airbnb that we had also had another one, so that actually is making 5. But there's been times where I've been on calls and working, the data runs out on one of them, and before I have time to charge it, because I'm in the middle of something, I can switch faster to the other one. Or sometimes 2 network is down, I can go to the other one and switch over to it quickly. So this was a hassle, but it was the way that I can get the job done. So if your work is very sensitive to where you're not just browsing or using Word document, but you actually have a lot of calls, the good thing about Zoom is when the internet cuts off, the whole call doesn't shut off automatically. You can actually change the internet real quick and the Zoom will still be active. It's just gonna go off and come back on, and everything will continue on like you were there. So I think that's really cool. So that is how to overcome the network outage problem, is you need to have backup plan, and you need to have the backup for the backup plan. And sometimes it's just that my power runs out on one of the ones that I didn't charge, whatever the case might be. So those are the 2 main things to overcome. Number 3 is customer service, and I think it's because there's so many people at the stores when you go, it's just sometimes 2-3 hour process just to go get an issue resolved. So you have to really, and just kind of like banking, my advice for you as a diaspora or anybody that kind of wants to be a little bit more productive in Nigeria is to actually get your own personal person for the company that you like. Get their phone number, get their WhatsApp. So anytime you need credit or you have an issue, you can just communicate with them directly rather than like going to the bank. And if you're like spending a lot of money, you're doing a lot of data, a lot of transactions, that person would be able to help you. So you can go into the store and find someone that has helped you and try to get their number to see if they can help you out of that. Also, to prevent that, because of the offload, a lot of these phones also have different codes. So like if you wanted to charge your data, you can do it through your internet banking, or you can dial specific codes in your numbers, and then you can do most of the transactions that you need to do, recharge your data, check your data balance, all that stuff literally on your phone, or you can use the app that they give you. So that is how to overcome the customer service issue. But one thing that I want to forewarn you guys on is that Nigeria predominantly does not typically have a good return policy. I had to learn this the hard way. You know, like in US or UK, wherever you're at, you go buy something that's not working very well, you can go return it. A lot of these companies don't have that policy, which is very frustrating, because there's been times where I've went to get the modem and it was malfunctioning, and they are only going to refer you to someone to help you fix it. Like the person that's working the kiosk, they don't have a way to like do transactions for you to return the equipment. I went through this with Smile, and they just said they couldn't do it. So be aware that before you make that commitment, before you buy the equipment, before you pay, make sure that you're either testing it at the place, make sure that everything works, make sure that you've done your due diligence before you make that financial commitment. So these are the 3 things that I think the challenges of using internet in Nigeria that you can overcome. But again, all these things, once you build a system, once you build a network of people that you know, the people to help you make things happen, you can actually live stress-free in Nigeria. But initially, you need to develop the network and the people and the know-how and the knowledge. That's why I'm shooting this video, for you, to save you some of the headaches that I had to go through. All right, I'm going to share a tip for you guys on how to check internet data speeds. So here's a quick thing you guys can do. I think this is actually fun for you guys to do. Maybe you pause the video, go on your computer or on your phone and type in fast.com, and then hit go, and then it will tell you what your internet speed is. If you're out of the country, I'm sure it's fast, like 70, 50, 80, 90, 100 megabytes per second. So please comment underneath this video. Let me know where you live and what the speed of your current internet that you're using is right now. Like right now, my internet speed is like 98 megabytes per second, and I just want the download speed. Comment underneath below, because I'm curious to see what speed you guys are working with. Again, go to fast.com and comment underneath this video with the speed of your internet and where you currently live at right now. Another website that you can go to is speedtest.net. You can go there as well and do a quick internet search. Matter of fact, I'm going to pause this video and I'm going to do it real quick where I am at, just so you guys can see how fast my internet is. All right. All right, so that is how fast my internet is right now. So I advise you to always check everywhere that you go to make sure that the speed. So even when you go to the store, to like this internet service provider store, maybe one of them is connected to the internet there, have them do the speed test on your phone to see how fast their internet is. That's like a easy way to do things. All right, so now let's go to like the ranking of the internet companies, the internet service provider companies that I experienced specifically on the island, from the worst to the best. So the worst experience out of all the companies that I tested was Smile. It was horrible. It was ridiculous. It was awful. The customer service of the lady that I work with, she was amazing. She was great, but the actual network is what was awful. So guys, different places that I tried it on the island, I got less than 1 megabytes per second, like 0.5 guys, not even up to 1 megabytes per second, 0.4 when I did the speed test. No matter what they did, I called, they did a lot of resetting, they did all this stuff. No matter what they did, the internet sometimes actually got slower. So Smile, and I tried this in many different locations, and it was consistently slow throughout the island. So Smile, don't do it. Maybe they're going to improve later, but don't do it. It was horrible. It was a waste of money, and it was also unreliable. It cuts off all the time, and it was ridiculously so. It was just a horrible experience. So Smile, no. All right. So now the one that was, all of this rest that I'm going to mention were decent. So I would say Swift was one that was actually reliable. So this is, Smile was like, I'm doing a ranking from 5 to 1. So Smile, horrible. Swift was good. It was not fast, but it was steady. So I think like it was not very good for video calls where I was at, but it was fast enough to where like you can do some regular browsing, some regular streaming. So that averaged anywhere from like 7 to 10 megabytes per second. My Airbnb host is the one who actually owned the Swift. He went to the company. They told him they're going to give him the fastest internet. And he called me and I was like, make sure that you test it while you're there. They be lying. But yeah, and he said yes, they said it's fast, but as soon as he got home, it was still like, yeah, it was still like 9 to 10. So that is, Swift is okay, but it's not like my favorite. And then MTN and 9mobile are really kind of tied, but I'm going to put 9mobile a little bit higher than MTN. So MTN would be like my third ranking. And again, I'm speaking from my experience in my location on an island. And you guys also have to keep in mind, I bounced around the different places on the island. I did not go to the Ibeju Lekki side though, just mainly like Victoria Island, Ikoyi, Lekki Phase 1, Lekki Phase 2. So in that area. So MTN was great, but it still was not like as fast as I want. It was like a little faster than the other ones, like 10 to 15, 20 megabytes. MTN was pretty good, but then it was not as reliable as the one that's up above that, which is 9mobile, which is one of my favorites. So MTN was decent. It was good enough if you guys need a fast internet. It's typically a little bit more expensive, but they have faster internet. And then MTN, I tried that because one of the people that I was working with had MTN, and I was like, let's do a speed test. Let me see how MTN works in this location. Then the one that I used predominantly, mostly throughout my trip, was 9mobile. 9mobile was a company that I was hesitant about because they're not popular like Airtel or Smile or Glow, but it was so reliable. It was fast. It was faster at night. We just had, multiple people can be on it. It was just the most consistent internet company that we used for a long time before I switched over to Airtel, which is like my #1 choice. But 9mobile was amazing. Kudos to 9mobile. Yes, very, very reliable in different parts of the island. And then the king for me was Airtel. That was my #1 choice of internet service provider. Their customer service was good. They actually had a dedicated number that you can call. Although it's not publicly available, I had to like get it from one of the people when I got mad that I needed some sort of way to be able to talk to someone, and he gave it to me. And I wish I had that number so I can give you guys the hookup. And then, but their stores is also, it's easy to get in there and access services, but most importantly, I don't care about all the other stuff. What I care mainly is about the speed. So the Airtel was the one that was consistently able to get faster speeds than any other internet service provider that I used in Lagos. They were averaging 15, 20, 25 on a regular day, which was perfect for me. And then at night, they got up to like 80 megabytes per second, 90 megabytes per second. And I'll tell you guys how. So there's kind of two things. So there's the Airtel like personal mobile Wi-Fi, and then there's like the hotspot. So the hack is that secret that I promised you guys of how I was able to consistently get fast internet was that I've been focusing so much on the mobile hotspot, and I only use the internet for my phone. So I just had a light bulb. I was like, you know what? Why don't I actually try the hotspot on my phone with the SIM card on my phone and use that to broadcast the hotspot to use on my computer? And I tried it once, and that's how I was able to get 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 megabytes hotspotting from my phone. So I don't know why it's that drastically different from like a phone to a modem. For you techies, maybe you have an answer for me. Comment underneath this video. I don't know, maybe because my phone is a 4G, but the modem was supposed to be a 4G one too. I have a Google Pixel Android, so I don't know why that matters. But so from that day on, for the last month, continuously, I just used Airtel on my phone hotspot the whole time. And it was fast consistently, and even got faster at night, faster in the morning. So that is my hack, guys. That is how I was able to be productive. I was able to be reliable for my job and have consistent internet by using the hotspot on my phone and not the actual mobile hotspot. But a lot of people told me that the mobile hotspot is faster, it's better. I don't know why. A lot of people assume that the one on the phone is slower, but for me, the experience was opposite. So maybe that's a hack that you guys can try. I don't know if that's exclusive to me and my phone and my location, or if that's just a general thing. So maybe you don't actually need a personal mobile at all. The downside is you need to charge your phone all the time, and if you're working and somebody calls, the internet service would interrupt. So maybe you need two phones. All right, and my phone was obviously not a regular flip phone, it was a smartphone. Okay guys, I hope that you guys got a lot of value out of this. I know a lot of you guys have been wanting me to make a video on Wi-Fi, because some of you guys work online and you're worried that if you come to a place like Africa or Lagos, Nigeria, then you're not going to be able to access the internet. But you can, it's just expensive, and you have to do your due diligence, you have to be in the right location, you have to be doing it at the right time, and you have to do your research. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this content, the best way to support this video and show me love is to like this video. Most importantly, subscribe to my channel. I have so many more contents to share with you guys, and there's so many already on my page. Thank you so much, guys, and remember to rise and let your light shine. Peace.